Well, welcome to another Fireside Chat here at the 2022 Tech Hub Live event. I'm Eric Sfiligoj, editor of CropLife magazine, here with Patrick Sanders from Nutrien Ag Solutions. Patrick, welcome.
Thank you. Good to be here.
So if you could tell our listeners and viewers a little bit about yourself, what you're doing at Nutrien, and what you're hoping to find here, or what you've seen so far at Tech Hub Live that has resonated.
Sure. So I just took the role of Director of Digital Agronomy at Nutrien. So I handle anything tech related with agronomy, as well as so our internal assets, as well as partnerships like with the folks here at the Tech Hub. So just browsing and seeing everybody here today, it's kind of like a reunion, right? Everybody gets back together. And I've been in the industry for about 20 years, so I'm very familiar to being on the opposite side of the fence, right? So being a vendor to ag retail. So what I'm looking for here this week is really partnerships, right? Long-term type of partnerships, and those who are willing to integrate with what we have at Nutrien and be a long-term solution provider. Because with the 1,000+ locations we have here in North America, very diverse, and not one solution fits all. So we have to be open-minded and willing to work with about everybody here in the room at some point.
Okay. As you said, you've been in the marketplace for 20 years, so basically so have I. A little longer, but not too much. Assuming, let's go back 20 years and you say you were at an event where ag technology was the focus versus today. What's the most significant advancement that you have seen in the marketplace, and why do you think that's the most significant?
Yeah, first off, I think the difference between 20 years ago and today is that I think everybody in the ring is willing to work with one another now. Whereas in the past it was very siloed, and you had your niche, and go to market was pretty focused, and it was you versus everybody else in the market. Whereas now everybody realizes that there is a spot for them, but they just need to be integrated with the rest of the solutions that are in the market. So everybody willing to play in the same sandbox and willing to share some information back and forth and understand where their lane is, I think it's the biggest difference. From a technology point of view, I think the automation that's coming into the market is probably the biggest piece that I see for ag retail.
Which part?
Well, I think there's a couple different parts of it. One is if you look at custom application, and that's where ag retail sits. In a lot of the markets, it's today we have a lot of openings, a lot of people that we need to hire, right, to keep that going. And so as we look at automation and bringing that into ag retail, we can solve for some of the labor issues that we have, just as growers are. Right? So I think anything with automation is key. And even on the agronomy side with automation as well, bringing models into play, assisting the agronomists so they can do more with less, right? Because they're being tasked to cover more acres, right, and serve more acres. And so digital allows you to still have that local knowledge about a field, but not necessarily have to be out on the farm.
Okay. All right. So we've talked about the opportunities in the marketplace and what advances we've already seen. In your mind, then, what challenge, or maybe a challenge or two, a problem that should be addressed, hasn't been addressed yet, that you are looking to see be addressed as we move through the next 3 to 5 years?
I'm going to come back to this integration piece.
Okay.
And I think there's a ton of really talented individuals that are working in the agronomy space within agriculture. I think we need to get each one focused on what they do best, and then share the information between all of these various providers in a way that is synchronous, right? Not just throwing shape files over the wall, but actually synchronous sharing of information back and forth, so everybody can do what they do and provide value add on top of the data that's there, right? I feel like the market has been recreating the same thing over and over again for a while.
Okay.
And if we all can agree that that's just foundational, we don't need to compete there, and we just work on the agronomy science. That's what sharing is, the data sharing is going to do for the industry, is allow us to move forward quicker.
Okay. So tell our viewers and our listeners a little bit more about what Nutrien's been doing in this space, in the space of ag technology that's helping some of these challenges that we've been talking about.
Sure. I think one thing we've realized is that you can't build it all yourself internally, right? You need a partner, and partnership brings you the ability to interact with the partners that your partners interact with, right? So working with organizations that are actively trying to partner with other organizations is key, right? So that's what we look at with Nutrien's Echelon platform, getting it integrated into our back end, but also allowing them to go out and integrate with other providers so that we get a multiplier effect on the amount of partners that we can integrate with and we can leverage, right? I think from what differentiates Nutrien a little bit is that we have our own science team internally, right? Building our own models for carbon and sustainability and agronomy and whatnot. And so there's not many other retail organizations that have that internal. And so we can innovate on the science side of things and then enable that through our digital platforms, right? And I think that's what's key, is bringing the science into the digital platforms, and so you can scale it and move it over many more acres and assist our sales folks in providing the agronomic advice.
Very good. Any last thoughts on your outlook as we move forward in the ag technology space, and what you envision as we move forward in the next few years?
Yeah, I look for the folks within this room here to help our sales and our agronomists move forward and service more acres, right, with the technology that we've got, and automate processes so that they can scale, right, and still provide the same amount of service that they provide, and remote sensing and working with machinery and all the data that they collect, as well as I think soil health was mentioned earlier, and carbon, right, bringing all that together into one platform so we can service the grower with one unified vision is really what we're looking to do over the next 3 to 5 years.
Very good. Well, fingers crossed for that development coming along. Thanks for joining us, Patrick, for the Fireside Chat here at the 2022 Tech Hub Live event. We'll talk to you again soon, I'm sure. Thank you.